Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Connecticut where Raja Drain, the mother indicted for the death of her daughter Jamie Drain, was announced that she's being held on a $2 million bond. Raja Drain was arrested last night in her home in Westerfield, Connecticut after a disturbance call. Connecticut police say they quickly learned the woman was wanted in North Carolina on the murder charge. Bertie County Sheriff Tyrone Ruffin said at a late morning news conference that Jamie Drain died last December, quote, at the hands of her mother, end quote. Now, the 2-year-old died on December 2nd from blunt force trauma to the head at a home on Jack Branch Road outside the Lewiston-Woodville area, according to an autopsy. Raja Drain was indicted yesterday for the murder and felony child abuse, inflicting serious bodily injury. The sheriff said this morning that doctors told investigators that the injuries could not have been done by another child. He said Drain was the only adult in the home at the time. An autopsy released last month says the 2-year-old had been returned to her mother after being taken into DSS custody following a child abuse case. The autopsy said the mother was in the kitchen cooking while her daughter was playing. Quote, the descendant was standing in the kitchen eating when the mother heard a thud, end quote. The autopsy said. Now, the mother turned around and found the child had fallen face first, striking her forehead, the document said. DHHS took over Child Welfare Services in the county on August 15th, citing the child's death. It is the second time in 3 years that the state has come in and taken over county operations. The woman is also facing a fugitive from justice charge in Connecticut, and Ruffin says they are beginning the process of having the woman brought back to North Carolina to face the murder charge. And now we also want to highlight another high-profile case, this one involving Ryan Ruth, who is alleged to have tried to assassinate Donald Trump last year at his Florida golf course. Ryan Ruth arrived at the Fort Pierce courthouse this morning. Ruth has been representing himself in federal court. He was warned by the judge today that his presentation could be cut short if he didn't follow the rules. The jury now has the case after hearing from both sides this morning. Prosecutors have said Ruth spent weeks plotting to kill Trump before aiming a rifle through shrubbery at then presidential candidate Trump played golf last September at his West Palm Beach country club. Now, Ruth has pled not guilty to the charges of attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate, assaulting a federal officer, and several firearms violations. And finally, a look at your forecast. We've got our eyes on the tropics as there are several areas of concern that may impact eastern North Carolina down the line. Again, may impact the east. It's something that we want you to understand, that there is this possibility, and you should certainly be prepared for that possibility. But right now, it's still too early to determine whether or not we are going to see any sort of big impacts from any of these systems, more than just a little rain and some wind. Right now, we've got our eyes on 2 areas of concern. We'll start out by talking about the one in red. That one has a higher chance of tropical development, but that one has a lower chance of impacting eastern North Carolina just due to its position in the Atlantic. Over the next 48 hours has a medium chance of tropical development. Over the next 7 days, a high chance of tropical development. But is this system, the X you're seeing on your screen there, just off the Leeward Islands, that is a system that could again be impacting eastern North Carolina. The earliest, I would say, is Sunday, the latest possibly Tuesday. So we've got kind of a 3-day window there, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of this coming week into the start of this coming weekend into the start of next week. And right now, it's still very uncertain. Models are having trouble kind of trying to figure out what is going to happen with this system. And the big problem is we've got 2 big pressure centers that are going to try and pull that area of low pressure in different directions. The question is, which pressure system, whether it's the big Bermuda high or the area of low pressure in the Gulf, which one will have more of an influence on the direction of that low? That area of concern, I should say. And now, if both areas, again, kind of evenly pull that area of concern, then unfortunately that leads it closer and closer to us. But if that area of low pressure in the Gulf decides to expand a little bit, get a little bit stronger, that area of concern, again, could snuggle up against that counterclockwise rotation and get kind of pulled into more of the Georgia, South Carolina region, possibly even northern Florida, whereas if that Bermuda high really takes over, then that area of concern will stay off of our coast and get kind of tugged between Hatteras and Bermuda, similar to what happened with Hurricane Erin. So again, this is to say that there are still uncertainties with this forecast. You can kind of see if you just kind of look at those arrows coming off of that area of concern, kind of fanning out. It is, again, an uncertain forecast, but it does have the potential for impacts here in eastern North Carolina that we want you to be aware of. The good news as far as Hurricane Gabrielle goes, right now it's moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. Maximum sustained winds of 130 miles an hour still keep it at a Category 4 hurricane strength, but this is a system, again, we don't need to really worry about at all from here on out, as it's only going to get further and further removed from eastern North Carolina's coastline. So great news there, but again, we do still need to pay attention to what is happening down across the Caribbean. 84 degrees right now across the Intercoastal Waterway in Carteret County. Morehead City enjoying variable winds at around 6 miles an hour. But dew points have risen quite a bit over the past 24 hours. We've got right now dew points in the low 70s, makes 84 degrees feel more like 90 degrees. And that, of course, with the added humidity, you're going to get a little bit more thunderstorm activity as well. Note again that sea breeze front working its way through Onslow, Jones, Craven, Pamlico, and Beaufort counties. Hyde County getting in the mix as well. But Carteret County, you're slowly starting to see your rain opportunity slowly dwindle. I know you guys have been stuck under some of those showers earlier this afternoon. Now that that sea breeze front is slowly starting to work its way a little bit further up towards the northwest, you guys will start to dry out in down east Carteret County. But zooming the picture in a little bit closer, we can see we've got some showers and storms just to the south of Ernle and Craven County, and those extend all the way over towards Aurora in Beaufort County. Now, Aurora, not really seeing the heavy stuff quite just yet, but you're probably hearing it if you are watching from Aurora. That's where, again, we've got really heavy downpours riding that Beaufort-Pamlico County line. Nothing severe right now, but it's certainly something we are keeping an eye on as we head through the rest of the afternoon. Current air temperatures in Washington right now, 88 degrees. A westerly breeze at 6 miles an hour comes with a dew point in the mid to upper 60s, making it feel more like the 90s. Summertime humidity is going to be here in full as we make our way through the next 48 hours. Right now, out your door, we're running into the mid to upper 80s for most of eastern North Carolina. Those of you watching in New Bern as well as Oriental, you guys have been stuck under the rain showers, which is why we're seeing a little bit of a lower temperature profile right now. Winds variable, not a whole lot to see there, but your 24-hour humidity change, this is going to lead to a better opportunity for rain, not just for today, but down the line as well. Coming up for you're really more so Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening than what we'll see tomorrow. But even tomorrow, we do have an opportunity for a few sea breeze showers showing up because of the rising humidity. Now, the humidity hasn't risen throughout eastern North Carolina. Goldsboro right now sporting a dew point in the 40s is incredible, but unfortunately for those of you watching in central Wayne County, I've got some bummer news for you. The humidity is going to be making a return in full. So soak up the dry air while we have it now, but as we head towards Friday, you can see that the Carolina coastline from pretty much the entirety of North Carolina all the way down across South Carolina, even extending down towards Georgia, a lot of very humid air is going to reside there. Now that will depart later on next week, particularly coming up Sunday into Monday of this coming weekend into the start of next week. But here is the front in question. You can see it really expanding northward, at least that area of low pressure expanding northward. And it's a front that's going to affect the entirety of the East Coast. Now, whether or not it will determine or whether or not it will show up with severe storms has yet to fully be determined. But for us, the slow-moving nature of that front will limit any sort of thunderstorms from reaching that severe weather threshold. Good news there, but unfortunately, the timing of this system may be impacting the Pirate game. Of course, the Pirates taking on Army at 7:30 at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium Thursday evening. Air temperatures for the tailgate going to be hot and toasty, summer-esque. We've got higher humidity, overnight lows in the low 70s, and daytime highs upper 80s, possibly in the low 90s. It is going to feel hot and toasty like summer is still here. And with a summer-style forecast, can't forget to can't really rule out any sort of thunderstorms. That will happen again later in the evening on Thursday. Will carry over through Friday and into Saturday before pulling its way away from eastern North Carolina's coast, coming in for Sunday and Monday of next week. But of course, you get to Monday and Tuesday of next week, and you see that watching the tropics. That is what you should be doing, again, is paying attention through the weekend to see where exactly that area of low pressure is going to be heading. The good news is that the National Hurricane Center is going to be sending out the Hurricane Hunters, some aircraft that will help with the overall read of the upper level winds. Right now, we're really not getting a lot of that upper level wind data into our system, which is making the models, again, a little bit more uncertain. You're seeing more variance between each model run. With that incoming data, again, things should get a little bit cleaner over the next 24 hours, and we should have a better forecast or a better idea of really where that system is going to be going once we get that data into the system and into our models for at least a 24-hour period. So we are looking again at a forecast that will be clearing up over the next 2 days. But for now, I would suggest that everybody check your hurricane kits just in case. Make sure everything is all up to date, set to go, and ready to rumble in case the worst does happen. Well, that's all we have time for today's 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day.